Hey y'all, welcome back. It's Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, N to the E to the D over at MPD, and we are continuing our groundbreaking three-part series on So You Want to Be a Philippines Expat YouTube Millionaire. Yes, it is possible to be a Philippine peso millionaire on YouTube. It might just take you 7, 8, or 9 years. Yesterday we talked about some of the positives of having your own YouTube channel, and we talked about some of the negatives. There weren't that many negatives. I think the negatives were loss of anonymity, internet trolls, and feeling like you're grinding content at some points. One of the positives that I forgot to mention yesterday was passing on information, edification, if you will. In our case, it's not so much as passing on an education as just warning people not to do the same things that I've done. I mean, since I've been here, I've been attacked by a sea urchin. I broke my back up in Mabini hitting that pothole on the motorcycle. We bought the truck, which we never use. Anybody want to buy a truck? 280,000 pesos. It's yours. It's what I paid for it. And we also got a house that's pretty hot. We didn't get a house further up the hills in Valencia like we probably should have done. So that's part of the positives, is feeling like you're leaving something positive, you're helping people, because there are a number of people interested in this type of thing. For example, when I first started doing research about moving to the Philippines, this was like 2.5, 3 years ago, there were basically 4 players. There was Pop Z, who was living up in the mountains, basically like Grizzly Adams in a jungle, here on Negros. He's actually coming back. He was in Florida for a while, but I guess he's coming back in September. There was So Yummy Kaya, who is now Gen 2 Man 19, who was in Dumaguete, and he was also in Davao, and his videos were pretty good. There was Life Beyond the Sea, Henry, who was grinding out content all the time, and there was Jack Northrup. And there was the 4 big players back then. And I watched them all. I watched them all obsessively because I had my Philippine dream. This was something that I was really, really longing for, and I had a great deal of anticipation, and I was really looking forward to it. So I was getting all the information that I could, and I think I watched all their videos. And Henry had a lot of videos, so that was a lot of time I put into that. And I did learn a lot. By the time I was done, between joining the forum that I belonged to, the Philippine Expat Forum, and watching all the videos and reading some books and stuff, I was prepared for about 90% of the things that I've encountered in the Philippines. It's the other 10% that people really can't describe. So those were the 4 big players since then, and I learned a lot from them. I got a lot of information, and I was edified for the most part, except for the truck and the sea urchin and breaking my back. Since then, a whole bunch of other players have come onto the scene, and all kinds of Philippine expat YouTube channels are popping up. We're going to be talking about some of those in a short while. Back in the day, back just 3 years ago, you could basically talk about anything and you get a crap load of views. Now that there's more people coming on board, it's kind of diluting that effect a little bit. Not much, but some people are worried. Some of the guys, us established guys, are worried that it's going to be cutting into our massive earnings and all that stuff. But I really don't think it is. And I also think that the competition is going to be good, because if we're going to maintain relevancy and we're going to continue to put out decent content, we've got to concentrate on putting out good quality content, not just these talking head videos. So that's something that's a good thing, is the competition. Also, it's bringing all kinds of different perspectives. People's different points of view, examining the same thing. It's bringing basically more objectivity, because you got different people coming from different places with different backgrounds, approaching things in different ways, which I think is very good. It's bringing a lot of diversity to the scene, which is only going to benefit the subscribers and the viewers. And also, the money that you make on AdSense, the money you make on your YouTube channels and all that stuff, it's basically found money. That's money that I hadn't budgeted. It was just somebody told me about it and I did it, and it's kind of growing over time, and it's all good. But it's not money that I'm depending on. It's just like extra. Hey, cool, all right. And again, it's an information thing, and it's getting all that information out there to the subscribers. Nowadays, there's some new players that are around, and you might want to check them out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put all their links to their channels in the video description, So go check them out. Again, we're looking for diversity, we're looking for information, we're looking for different perspectives on the same thing. First up is Brit in the Philippines. I think his name is Chris. He's actually he's living here on $575 US a month. I'm sure he's got more than that, but he's just he set a budget for himself before he came here. He says, this is what I'm going to do, and for the most part, up until recently, because there's always crazy stuff that pops up here, he's been able to do that. So he's been able to stay here months on $575 US dollars a month. You also got Bud Brown. Bud Brown lives here in Dumaguete. His perspective is he met his Filipina wife back in late 60s, early 70s, around the Vietnam era, I believe. They got married, they went to the United States, they lived in California for decades, and they recently came back to retire here in the Philippines in Dumaguete, and that's his perspective. And Bud is a generally nice guy, and check out his channel, definitely, for different perspective. Plus he's got that cool three-wheeled electric trike. I'm jealous. You got SezStyle. SezStyle is a young American. He's living in San Francisco, I believe, with his Filipina wife, and he's bringing a different perspective. You also have Nomadic in the Philippines, who is a young Canadian. I think it's Dr. Otto Flowers. And he's actually coming back here with his wife to do a bunch of backpacking around the Philippines. So he's bringing a different perspective also. And finally, for the ultimate and different perspective, you have Hoodwinked by an Angel, Michael Fazio. If you haven't checked his, I don't really know how to describe his channel. It's pretty eclectic, it's pretty interesting, and he definitely brings a different perspective to things. And again, you got the original players who are still in the game. You got Pop Z, he's coming back to the jungle up in north central Negros Occidental, I believe. Yes, he's on our island, but he's in the province to the north of us. So Yummy Kaya is now Gen 2 Man 19. Last I knew, he was in Angeles City. He was in Dumaguete and Davao, then he went back to the U.S. for a while. And he's pretty cool because his thing is he's young. He's like really young, like 30 something. But he does raps for commercials and stuff and for people's projects. So that's his thing. He's got his little MacBook Air, and he goes around. He can just, as long as he has internet, he can work. Life Beyond the Sea is here in Dumaguete, filming all the things that I was going to film. Henry is still here. He brings perspective. He's got his girlfriend staying with him. And it's interesting seeing him progress from, man, when he first got here, he was living like out in the sticks in Bohol, like way out there. Like electricity wasn't working all the time. I can remember him making tortillas on a gas grill. He didn't have screens. It was like roosters running all over the place. So then he was in Mactan. I think he was originally in Mactan. So he's been everywhere. He's been to the big cities. He's been out in the provinces, and now he's kind of in the middle here in Dumaguete. And Jack Northrup is still doing his thing. And I used to love watching Jack's videos because Jack's kind of out there, man. And but he's also very genuine, and I think he's very honest. And he's also living a pretty frugal lifestyle. I mean, we live a pretty frugal lifestyle here. And I think that's one of the things, and again, when I first came, when you look at the 10 reasons I came to the Philippines, one of them was just getting the whole materialism thing and keeping up with the Joneses, and I was more worried about my stuff than I was about myself, my well-being, and where I was going. So you don't have to be so much worried about that. So all those players are still in play. And also, and I mentioned this yesterday, I provided the link to his video, Burris Trout, was a cinematographer. He was going to Bigfoot Studios in Cebu on Mactan. And I really, really enjoyed it. If you want to see really good quality, how you're supposed to do quality videos, check out his site, because that's how you're supposed to do it. You can just tell in the quality, the equipment. I don't know if it was the equipment. I think he was just using GoPro. But anyways, the transitions, the compositions, all that stuff is just fantastic. And he has also a bunch of videos. I think he did like 20 or 30 videos about different places around the Philippines. He went up to El Nido. They went all over the place. They came here to Dumaguete. It's really good quality, and it gives you a good perspective on things. So that's basically what's going on. And again, the competition is good. More people coming into it is good. If you're thinking about coming to the Philippines, start your own channel. Start it up before you leave, and you know, okay, so this is me before, and this is me transitioning, and this is me after, for posterity's sake, if nothing else. If you want to maintain your anonymity, you can just do it for yourself. But definitely record this whole process. Record this journey that we're all on, because it's important. Tomorrow we're going to be talking about some of the hardware, the software, and some of the information you need in setting up a YouTube channel. It's very simple. Anybody can do it. It's not rocket science. I did it, and that tells you something right there. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Any kind of engagement's good. If you like the channel, subscribe. Until next time, until tomorrow, this is Ned over at My Philippine Dreams, and we'll see you later. Peace. Oh, one last thing. I had to reshoot this video because the humidity level right now is like 99%, and the camera had heated up in the case. It's my GoPro camera. It's on the tripod. And the camera got so hot that it created condensation. I couldn't see the video. Yeah, just thought I'd share that.